Hi everyone, Shelley here. Welcome to my channel. I really hope you enjoy this video. The bird I'm going after over the next few days is the beautiful Western Rosella. They're endemic to Western Australia. They are a stunning bird with the red on the male on the chest is spectacular, but it's tricky to get your exposure right, so you really need to watch that. I'll put some tips up on how to expose for that bird and some ideas on how to process this beautiful bird. And I'll show you some birds and some video that I got over the next few days. So this is the habitat I found. Very wet today, and just not the frost, but just the dampness of the morning, and that soon dries up once the sun comes in a lot stronger. And they come in and they land over here, and they like those tall, like a Watsonia plant. I have found what they are, and I'll put the correct name up. And then there's the lavender bushes, and they just sit in there and they feed. They're very timid, and they will fly if I disturb them. And so I'm always looking for their habitat, what they like to feed in, and I will come out a few times to work out the best way to photograph them. So if you put the time in, you can get those photos. One of the times I went around the other side of this and shot into the sun because the sun's behind me. And I'll just show you that little bit of video. I didn't think it was as effective as I wanted, so I didn't take a lot of photos that way. This is the stem. I think it's called Watsonia. I'll put the correct name up, and it's from South Africa. But what it does is, usually you see them straight up, but because the Western Rosellas come in, they land on them and they just sort of climb up, and it's a good way to get them actually. But what they do eventually is like this one. It just falls down into the bush, and it can actually be very interesting to take photos in. If you get back a bit and you look at the, this is lavender, and if you shoot using the bush to provide some softness around the bird with it out of focus, it can look really nice. And so this is it. This has naturally gone down, and that's because the Rosellas have been landing on them a fair bit and pushing it down, and it eventually stays down. And they're not a heavy bird. And the only reason I know that is because I've seen it, and I've seen it a fair bit over the years in this particular area where you find this kind of thing. And it's, I actually think it's quite a nice perch, natural perch, not a perch that I put in or anything. I do try to look for the natural environment. I love getting the birds in their habitat and showing what they're in my photos. The lavender is, it's classed as a weed in Australia, but it does grow wild, so it is in the habitat and it just grows wild, and some places will get rid of it. Protect the colour that matters the most. That's an important tip for when you're out photographing the Western Rosella. Straight away, I would be exposing for the red. In changing light, reducing exposure by around 1/3 to 2/3 of a stop can provide a safety margin. Don't automatically underexpose heavily. Aim to place the red channel close to the right without touching the edge. And you can see this in your histogram. With a bird this colourful, I expose for the brightest important colour. In this case, the red chest on the Western Rosella can clip very easily, particularly in strong light. I watch the RGB histogram because the normal brightness histogram may look fine even when the red channel is already clipping. I'd rather slightly darken the exposure and protect that feather detail because I can lift the shadows later, but I cannot properly recover colour and texture once the reds are blown. Watch the highlight warning on the red and yellow feathers. Try modest adjustments such as saturation around -5 to -15, hue only if the red has shifted to orange or magenta. The exact number will depend on the light. Mask the red chest and add a small amount of texture rather than heavy clarity. Texture can help reveal the feather structure without creating harsh edges. Avoid global saturation. If the overall image needs more colour, use vibrance cautiously. The Rosella's reds and blues already have plenty of intensity.